Well, good Monday morning to you. Chris Hare here, the world champion crypto cowboy, bringing you an update on Solana. It's been a while, figured I'd circle back. Found support over the weekend, been moving up, been in a retest overnight and this morning, but we'll kind of figure out where it's going to go. We'll start at the 4-hour chart, we'll work all the way up to the weekly. So I'll give you an idea of what's going to happen over the next few days to the next few weeks and months. But stick around to the end of the video. You're going to catch all that. All those long-range targets will be there. I am a world champion rodeo cowboy in the team roping events, and I'm taking the strategies and the discipline that I've learned right outside the door in this arena. I'm going to bring them right here to the crypto desk, and I'm going to make all of y'all world champion crypto traders. So don't forget to like, subscribe, tap that bell notification. You're not going to want to miss a video. We're going to cover everything in detail and figure out exactly what's going on. But we're going to start off with the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Currently at a 20. We've been all the way down to 9, so we've moved up on this little pump. That's no surprise. Pretty interesting past month or two. Usually they're green, now they're red. What a mess it's been. But I use this. It measures market sentiment. It tells us if people are scared, if people are greedy, what's going on. And currently right now we're in fear. Everybody's scared to death. But what I like to do with this is I make some small spot purchases when we get into greed, when we get into fear, and even more when we get into extreme fear. And it's worked well for me. When we get into greed, I sell it off and we usually make money. I pulled up a bit Unex exchange just to show you what I'm talking about. I've got about $90 in Ethereum and Solana right now. I've been DCAing in. As we go backwards, just some small amounts for you guys to see. I also went ahead and bought some Bitcoin at 90,000 because that's just what you should do. Currently, we're down a little bit. We were down in double digits, but we have moved up. So we'll see what happens over the longer term. I'm pretty comfortable with DCAing into these. And like I said, selling it off in greed, it's worked well for me in the past. If you do need an exchange to trade on, go ahead and check out Unex. You'll find a link to that in my description. I do believe you get a first-time deposit bonus and a little better fees on your trading, so go ahead and check that out. I went ahead and pulled up 2 heat maps on Solana. I wanted to make sure we covered the short and the long term, so that on the weekly you can see this is what market makers use to track your liquidity. They don't care about your TA or what's going on. All they care about is your liquidation points on your trade, and they move the charts to go and find them. Our job is to stay out in front of them. Everything above price action is a short trade. Everything below price action is a long trade. And you can see we're kind of in the middle. There's some bright pockets way down here at around $121. There's a little more right here at about $135. So I think we've got to cool off a little bit. Cumulatively, we've got 137 million to the top side up to about $150. On the long side, we've got about 266. So there's an imbalance to the downside. I think they're probably coming after some of these broader pockets of liquidity, but we'll get into that when we get into the charts. Looking at the macro, you can see where all the liquidations are, and they are low from 130 all the way down to about $124. So cumulatively, we've got about $513 million worth of short trades to the top side. To the bottom side, though, guys, we've got about $211 million in liquidations. So where do we go from there? 30 million to 200 million. I think we come down. I think we start grabbing a bunch of this liquidity, probably come down to 130, 125, but we'll get into the charts. That's going to tell us exactly what's going on. I posted all these charts in the Crypto School last night. You'll find a link to that in my description. Come on over and check it out. You'll have direct access to me and a bunch of other great coaches. Great place to hang out, great place to learn. Come on over and see us. You can see we've been in this horrible dump since about the 3rd of October. So much for a red or a green October or a green November for that matter. We've been red all the way down till now. Bottomed out here at about $121, right on the bottom trend of this. So that's bullish. We've come up since Saturday, found support above the 50 simple moving average. That's also bullish. We've still got the 50 smooth moving average right here. Both of those take 50 of these candles, put a fluid line on the chart, work as excellent support and resistance. What we need to do here is we need to come down, retest this 50 simple moving average, and then think about working to the upside. If we can get out of this retracement zone and above this 50 and through this bearish fair value gap, I think we're headed to 152 to 161. I think that's a big decider on where we go next. If we don't get above this, I think we go back down. I think we're looking for lower targets. Same if we fall out of this 4-hour retracement zone. $107 to $89 would be your targets there. But like I said, you've got the 4-hour retracement zone. You've got all this support. Maybe we're ready to make a run to the upside here a little bit. If we can get into the 4-hour golden zone, your daily 50 moving average sits at about $170. That's going to be our next big target. I think by the time you get there, it will be down here on top of it. Those are the big deciders. We've got to get over them to get any more upside. If we can, I think you go to 185 to about 202 with an opportunity to go to 254 on the 4-hour. Moving out to the daily chart, it gives us a little more of a macro picture of where we're going or where we've been. Covering that dump coming out all the way down from October down to about $122. We've moved up. We've moved out of this daily retracement zone, but we've got a bearish fair value gap right at about $161. And for a daily, those are strong. I think your moving averages will be down here about the time that we get there, if we get there. And then it begs the question, where do we go from there? I'm not confident in a break above the daily 50s, but it could happen. If we get above it, we get the daily retracement zone is above the daily 50s, so we've got to get through that. That sits at 176 to 193. Then I question, you probably come back down, retest these daily 50 moving averages. Then maybe you can work to the upside, 202 to 224. From here, this is the lower high. And I'm concerned with Bitcoin that we're also looking at a lower high there. This may be the point that we decide to reject down and come on down towards $100. If for some reason we can get above this, I think it's a less likely target, but 287 to 332 will be those numbers. Moving out to the weekly, you can see what I'm talking about. Since the beginning of the bull run, we've been following this trend. We've touched it 3 times now. 3 touch points make a trend. We're in our weekly retracement zone. We bottomed out at a little below $125. Our daily 50 moving averages and our weekly sit at 172. That's an awful lot of resistance directly above us, and it's going to take some work to get above it. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to hold support here to work back and forth, maybe for the next month or two, on that daily 50, on this weekly trend line. And then when we get to the end, we decide if we break down or we break up. But if we just decide to go ahead and run up, get above these 50s, then I think you're looking at 212 to 249. That's a double top unless we can go on. 353 to 428. Double tops are historically bearish, and you really drop out of them. But you can see on the volume, we've got some volume coming in. It's buy volume. The sell volume's kind of stopped. Hopefully that's what we're looking at. Hopefully that gets us to a point that we decide to run. But if not, it's going to get ugly. I don't know what else to say. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. I think you have to play this day to day. Don't get too far ahead of yourself because that's how you get wrecked or you lose positions. We opened some longs today, but I didn't think our entries were going to hold, so we went ahead and closed them. It's not a big deal. We made profit. We'll find another place to attack, and we'll do it all over again. That's what trading is. There's always another trade. If you miss one, it's not a big deal. You just go on to the next one. But I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Go ahead and like, subscribe, tap that bell notification. You'll get updates as soon as we upload a video. And don't forget to leave us a comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm, and it helps us reach more people, and I really enjoy hearing from you guys. But go ahead and check out the links in my description. That'll get you a link to BitUnix, a link to my X. There's a link to the crypto school there. Come over and visit with us. I'd love to hear from you. But I'm Chris Hare, the world champion crypto cowboy. I got a lot to do today, so I'm going to get out the door. We'll see you down the road.